Good morning, FlossTube. It's Cowgirl Kate coming at you live on the 31st of May. Mania's over. It kind of took a weird direction for me, and tomorrow is June, and I still don't have much figured out for what June's gonna even have going on in it. It's just been kind of like that around here. But for Mania, let's recap, and I'll get into that in a moment. But before I forget, I want to make sure that I get my shout-outs taken care of, just in case this video gets long enough and cuts me off. I at least want to get that taken care of. And they are Zahiko. She's from Japan. I just discovered her channel yesterday. She's got a lot of cool things going on, and she talks about Japan, and it's really cool. You know, you need to go see her. Nikki Crafts and Snowflake Stitcher are also some new ones that I've stumbled upon. I'm sure everybody else probably knows about these guys already, but I thought I'd give them a shout out because they're new to me, and you know, it's just, I liked what I saw, so you know, check them out. You won't be disappointed. I also want to thank everybody who's subscribed or made a comment or, you know, anything. I really appreciate that, you know, you're taking time out of your schedule, you know, to even come over and check out what's going on here. So I really truly appreciate that. Even if I don't have as much stitching updates as I'd like to have, and there's been a lot more critter videos than sewing lately, but you know, hopefully the stitching will catch up now that we've kind of gotten into the spring rush, has kind of settled down a bit. We had a late frost 2 weeks ago that wound up killing everything. Luckily our corn was okay, so we didn't, thank God, have to replant all the fields, but it did take out the gardens, and so we had to redo all of that stuff. And what do? You just keep swimming. So beyond that, the second half of Mania was crazy in that I only got to do 2 things that whole week. The first one, I did work on the Waiting for Ship's koi, and I got her right here. But this is all that I got done. You see? And that's all I got done, was just a bit of these oranges. That's showing. I can never tell with this camera. I just got a bit more of the oranges and the blacks done on that. We were loading pigs that week, so I didn't have time much for anything. But I did make it a point to start the Sleeping Beauty with Dina, and now I believe Judy is going to join us sometime as well, so it would be fun to kind of see their updates, but I'm sure they got a lot farther than I did. I'll have to look up the name of this fabric. I know it's a 28 count, and it's an opal linen, kind of a purpley lavender color. So far the greens look okay on it, and I'm hoping that, you know, as I get farther into it, it'll grow on me a little more. It's pretty fabric, but I just don't know how it's gonna work with her, and yeah, sometimes I get picky that way. But those are the only 2 things I even touched during the second week of Mania. Beyond that, we were kind of in and out of hospitals. We had a dear friend that, you know, their age had caught up to them, so they were in the hospital and went on hospice and then passed away. So that was a very, very rough week because I was carting my in-laws up there quite a bit, and yeah, not a fun time at all. But at least the person is at peace now, and you know, we can take that for comfort. So with all that going on, there was really nothing sewing that happened, or stitching, or any kind of crafting. So with all that going on, instead of starting new projects, I kind of paid more attention to projects that I already had going and were familiar enough that I could just grab and go and whatever. And one of those was the AON conversion, and here she is. I'm hoping that that is picking it up. And what I worked on her for that week was most of the green in the flag. You can see here. I did most of that, and then I worked down here on the horse's face a bit more, but I didn't get too far. On his face, I had hoped to finish it, but I never did, and then all kind of chaos broke loose, you know, with all the things that were going on that week, so I didn't get anything hardly done on his face, but, you know, he'll stick around for a while. Get more done on him. The other thing that I worked on was MIDI, and this project has been around forever, and she's had 3 things that have bugged me about this project. One, she's on 32 count Stony Point Permin, and that's kind of a stiff, kind of a crunchy feeling linen, and I don't like that. I like the softer fabrics. Okay, back when I started her, that would have been like at least 15 years ago, I had this epiphany I should do the skin over 1. Okay, that stumbled me a long time, but I got the skin done. That was the first hurdle. Second hurdle was the wings. Now they're entirely made of blending filament, which doesn't bother me, but they're big. Okay, they're big, and I didn't want to backstitch them, and in a minute I'll show you kind of why, just because there's so much backstitching and you go over every little stitch along the edges, and I like to get backstitching over with, so that was kind of fiddly for me, but I got the backstitching done this round, so kudos, yay, that goal is done. The other hurdle, I hate the branch that she's sitting on. I just hate it because it's just big chunks of brown. It drove me nuts, and I've been putting off doing it for the last 15 years. Well, I am happy to say that 90% of the branch is done, except this is all I'm going to do of it. I've taken out quite a bit of the work. I ain't making it as big as what it is charted for. And down here I shortened it up too. I just figure the description says she's as big as a lightning bug, so she doesn't need a log to sit on. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So I got this done this past week. Got the hurdle of the branch done. And now all that's left is her gown and the rest of the beading. And those I enjoy doing. So I'm hoping she might yet be a finish this summer, but you know, who knows what might catch my attention. But that is what I got done on the MIDI. Oh, and I fixed her bow. She's got her bow now so she can play violin. That was the other goal I had for her, but that didn't take long. The branch was much more intrusive and annoying to me, but finally it's out of my hair. And the last project that I worked on for May was the one that I had designed, and I ran out of 2 colors. And I even went digging through my stash and couldn't find them. So, that means a trip to the city, and that LNS that we were supposed to go to a couple of weeks ago, that trip never happened because that was the second day up in the hospital with my in-laws and their friend, so we didn't get anywhere near an LNS or a craft store or anything like that because, you know, things were kind of crazy. So I still don't have the threads for her. This is what I really want to work on. I would like to get her finished, but I ain't got the stuff. So she's just kind of been waiting, and these older projects have kind of taken over. But she has a name now, and she's a very steampunk themed fairy. So here's what I have done of her so far. I don't know if the camera is picking that up. I hope so. And her name is Pocket Watch Pixie. And I can't wait to get to her boots. That's my favorite thing of the whole design, is she's got some really cool boots. So hopefully, I don't know, soon that I'll get somewhere to the cities and get to actually get some thread and get going on her some more, because I would like to see how she materializes, because I just don't trust the computer or the paper charts. I have to see what it looks like in thread to know for sure. So beyond her, the Kerstin project that I selected for May, it's sitting right here. She's gotten a lot of attention now over this past weekend. She was my focus, and that is the Autumn Queen that Kerstin did. So here is what she looks like. And what I was working on was her head and face. Kerstin had started her skin in over one, so I'm just continuing that. And I worked more on her head and the face, and then some more down in this section. These golds and whites, and that whole thing has got to be filled up. So yeah, she's going to be huge, but if I can get that over one skin done, I will be a happy camper, because that seems to be, I don't know, I consider that the majority of the work that she needs done, because the normal stitching, you know, is fine. I could work on that whenever, but the over one stitching, I need nice sunlight, like, well, obviously, like what's coming through the window, to work on her. So she's kind of like the mornings, early afternoon kind of project, because that's when I have, you know, a chunk or two of spare time. It's right when I wake up, and then again after lunch. So here's hoping that she grows. I'm going to keep her out on the frame for a while, and hopefully she gets her face on. So I'm looking forward to that. I plan to change some of her beads. I'm just not real crazy about a couple of the colors, and I want to put some real semi-precious stones on her, so, you know, I need to do some tweaking to figure all that out. So it's going to be interesting. For June, the only real plans that I have are to get some thread for Pocket Watch, and also figure out the beads for the Queen of Peace conversion. So a lot of bigger deal things that I have to figure out for those, so that's kind of only the tentative thing I have for June. And then whatever regular projects are sitting around that I can just pick up and work on if I don't have time to sit down and figure those things out. I only have a couple of weeks before we have our first livestock show. My boys show animals at livestock shows and the fair, and that'll be coming up in July. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, because we got to get the lambs trained, and I'm not so sure about show cattle. They're kind of on the fence, and it just kind of depends on how well behaved the steers are, because they're at least 1,400 pounds, and that's a lot of hamburger to drag a person around when you're trying to train them. So we're gonna wait and see how that goes. And if they're too squirrely, then we're not gonna deal with it, because we've seen people that have taken really squirrely animals to the fairs or the shows, And sometimes stuff happens and I just don't want to be that person that is responsible. So we kind of play it by ear. So anyway, other than that, summer's finally here. Tomorrow's going to be June 1st, and yeah, bring it on. We'll be making hay soon, and the horses will be happy about that. Everybody's out on pasture now, except for the donkeys. They still will not leave their pen. They are very... I don't know. It's so hard to explain it because we opened the gate and, you know, Tango was off and playing around and looking at everything, and the donkeys would just stick their heads out like where the gate line used to be. They'd stick their heads out and go like this and be like, nope, turn around and go back. And the farthest they've gotten away from their old pen is about 10 feet, and then they turn around and go back. So yeah, donkeys are different. They're very different. And we just leave the gate open all the time now because it's connected to the pastures, but they still won't come out. So hopefully they figure that out real soon. I think they're just trying to see if Tango and Kaz get eaten before they decide to come out. So who knows? We've tried bribes, we've tried everything. It's just gonna have to be on their time. So anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for being so patient for an update. I really appreciate that. And hopefully June will have a little more time that I can get caught up on these things that I have going on, and maybe I'll have some real progress for the next video. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves. Keep making the wonderful videos. You guys keep me company every day because, you know, even if I don't have time to stitch, I still have time to listen to a video. So thank you for that. Take care, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.